A waiter weaved through the crowd, carrying a tray of wine and beer. He paused beside me, and I snagged a pint of beer as the hum of conversation carried on around me. Usually, I was in my element like this. I could dive in, drink a little too much, party a little too hard, and flirt like there was no tomorrow. Preferably, a night like this would end with me in a warm and willing woman's bed. Lately, I'd been clinging to the concept of fake it until you make it. An unmistakable voice drew my attention. "Oh my God," Evie Blair exclaimed. Following the sound, I saw Evie nudge some guy in the shoulder as he smiled down at her. By the angle of his eyes, I surmised he was catching a healthy glimpse of her cleavage. An entirely irrational streak of possessiveness jolted me. I didn't get possessive, much less jealous. Shaking the feeling off, I took a moment to absorb her. Evie was lovely, although not in any typical way. Oh, she had glossy dark hair that fell straight down her back and stunning, rich blue eyes. I couldn't look into them for too long because it felt as if I were diving straight into the deep sea. I never knew if I'd be able to come up for air. With her slightly crooked nose, lopsided smile, and a dusting of freckles across the bridge of her nose, she was downright endearing. She was short, with hips that swung with every step. I dragged my eyes away from her, lifting my beer to my lips. I lowered it a second later and turned to set it on a counter along the wall behind me. I had no interest in drinking, and all my usual tricks were failing me. "Hey, man," a voice said from over my shoulder. Glancing to the side, I found Wade Ellis standing there. "Hey," I replied, forcing some semblance of a smile on my face. "Not even drinking tonight?" he commented. Shaking my head, I shrugged. "Nah, I'm here to support the lodge, but that's about it." Lost Deer Winery, a premier winery in the Blue Ridge Mountains, was hosting a fundraiser for Stolen Hearts Rescue, an animal rescue program run by the same place where I worked. I wasn't up for conversation, and blessedly, someone else said something to Wade, and he turned away to reply. Glancing at my watch, I calculated I'd been here for a solid hour, so more than enough time. If necessary, I would claim I had a headache. And in a way, I did. Turning, I clapped Wade's shoulder as I passed by and started to weave through the crowd. I wasn't paying much attention to where I was going when Evie's voice caught my ears, dragging my gaze sideways to where she stood only a few feet away. "Excuse me?" Her tone was sharp. Without thinking, I veered closer, stopping at her side just as the man who had been staring down at her cleavage curled his hand around her upper arm. Her skin dimpled under his grip, deep enough I figured he'd leave bruises. I cut between them, shouldering the asshole out of the way.